I think that we are excellent. Peace and many, many blessings to you. I'm excited to be here again with another Coochie Talk. And I love that whenever I do the Coochie Talks, I seem to be wearing a color that is associated with the womb. How divine. And then also, how divine is this sun? Well, my name is Tanaya, RTP, or the Perspective Dealer, and I started the Coochie Talk just as a way for women to get more comfortable hearing about their vagina, to ask questions about their vagina, to bring something to the collective where it's like, yeah, there's somebody out here that comfortably talks about this, that will accept all of your questions, accept all of your comments, accept it all without any judgment, without any shame. And this brings me to the topic for today of shame, womb shame, and all the different ways that it can come out. And what inspired me to talk about this today was having my own shame around expressing what I want, having my own shame around expressing what I want, whether it be out into the world to someone I'm dating, be it man or woman. There's some type of something like, ooh, I want this, like, ooh. And for way too long, women have been denied of their pleasures, of their desires, or taught that our pleasures and desires take a back seat for someone else's happiness, for someone else's comfort, to be more digestible for someone else. And no, no. Shame can even translate down to not allowing yourself to orgasm, when the body can experience a high amount of pleasure but then have no orgasm from it, because deep down there's a part of you that's telling yourself you don't deserve to feel this. There is some type of shame and it's buried. So if you have any of your own experiences with shame, or not being able to have an orgasm and then working through whatever you had to work through to now be able to achieve them, I would love to have that conversation and to just have a space for that. No shame in our desires. For a long time, men have been able to, let me not even say, I'm going to use that example, it's fine. Part of me talks about man and woman because that is my experience right now, where I have had experiences where it's woman to woman as well, and that has been a real strong focus of mine. But because my focus right now is on men and women, I talk about that. But I'm definitely open to speaking about all different types of relationships as it relates to the womb. Anyway, men can tell us what they want. If they want sex, they can just say that. If we want anything, there's always some type of, oh, well, I don't want him to think. There's some type of shame. Why do we care what people think when it comes to what we desire and what we want? To the point where what we desire and what we want just doesn't get expressed. We kind of numb ourselves out of it instead of numbing everybody else out and going to get what it is that we want. I was talking to my friend on the phone, and like, I had a UTI a few months ago, and I was able to call my friends and talk about the fact that I had a UTI. Whereas me in high school, if I had anything going on with my coochie, I wouldn't tell any of my friends because I felt like there would be judgment. It was like this thing that we're not supposed to have no problems, no smells, no scents, no discharge, no nothing. And it's like, when those problems are present, who do you run to and who do you go to when there is shame around it? Especially, I know some situations where you can't even go to your mom and talk about the things that you were having. And that was my situation, where my mom wasn't present enough in my life for me to even have comfort in going to her about those type of things. But another part is just that she wasn't there. So who do you go to? Who do you talk about it? There was shame around it. And even with my dad, he would tell me every day, like, oh, wash your vitals, da-da-da. Like, that was his way of just making sure that I was keeping up on my feminine hygiene. And that was that. Like, nobody taught me to wipe front to back. I knew that intuitively to do. But it's just those things. A lot of the shame that we have comes from not knowing, not expressing it, not putting it out there. And that is a big part of why I started the Coochie Talk. Like, let's just put it out there. Let's make these conversations available. Let's, as women, talk. This movie, Women Talking, I love that movie. I love just the power that I got to see and what happens when women congregate, when they share, when they speak shamelessly, when you can bring up matters that you may be ignorant about, and then there's an elder woman that can help you and assist you. Or it was so beautiful. We are the daughters who are carrying those things. So sometimes what we feel is not even just what we feel, it is the feeling of our ancestors, of the women who we were inside all them times ago. And there's honor in that, I feel, because you're awake to it, to be able to change it, to be able to shift it, to be able to take away that shame, to heal the shame, to put not even put bandages on it, just to soothe it and put ointments and make, like, you know, pay attention to it. Pay attention to it. And yeah, put a bandage, because you're going to have to change it until it all the way heals. It's okay to bleed. Then I think of more shame when it comes to our cycles, or even the fact that it is called a period. Why do we call our monthly sacrifice a period? What ends? Okay, my mind opens up to, you call a section of time a period, right? It could be called an era. I'm about to call this an era, my bloody era. No, I'm not going to do that. I like what my friend Jasiri calls it, blood rights, because that's what it feels like to me, blood rights. But I've noticed that even talking to the older generation, I had a friend who would call her cycle Aunt Martha, calling it a period, giving up different names instead of just saying what it is, a monthly blood sacrifice, an inborn ritual that women are blessed to have. And I think a lot of the shame comes from the fact that we experience pain with our menses, and that's not normal. It's common, but it's not normal. It's not normal to bleed long. It's not normal to bleed heavy. It's not normal to have pain when you're bleeding. Not normal. Common, not normal. I just have to continue to emphasize that, because it's so many of us who are affected by, you know, debilitating periods. And then we live in a society where someone would laugh at you if you told them that you need a week off to tend to yourself during your cycle. What kind of honor for women, what kind of honor for the matriarch is that? But I think that the more that we can take our power back and tell the world no, to tell ourselves yes, that's when that shame starts to shed. That's when it gets easier to make peace with your requests. That's when it's easier to make peace with your desires and know that they can actualize, because you're telling yourself yes. So yeah, that's what it all is. Shame is when you tell yourself no and you tell other people yes. Shedding shame is telling yourself yes and telling other people no. This is not how that works. Another thing that comes up with that is in situations, in all our relationships, right? Man, woman, friend, father, sister, mother, cousin, whatever. When you lay down a desire, or you lay down a want, say a boundary, and it doesn't even have to be, whatever. You lay down a want, a desire, a boundary, and then the person is like, oh, okay, cool. Like, you know, this is how I'm going to maneuver that. And then that relationship continues. Or it is, I'm not getting down with that. You're acting funny. You do, like, if they change it into a defensive situation where they try to make you the problem, that person isn't it. And I think that with shame, we kind of know how the person, or we have an inkling or a feeling of how the person is going to react, and we kind of feel that it's going to be that unfavorable reaction, so we don't ask, because we get to control keeping the person in our life, and then we can, you know, demonize them instead of realizing that we did that to ourselves by allowing this person to stay, because we knew that they would not get in line with our desires. We knew that they would not get in line with what we want. So is the person really more important than your desire? Is the situation more important? Is the circumstance more important? Is the job more important? Is the friendship more important than what you want? And when I'm talking about what we want, I'm thinking of how we want for nothing. But at the end of the day, I have to stop myself right now in order to get precise or get concise on what I mean by wants versus needs, right? When I say wants, I'm a person in this lifetime who believes that we can have whatever that we want. I believe that we can have it all. So in that process of having it all, I'm thinking of when you have it all, it is for the highest and best good of everybody involved. And that's what I mean by the wants. I really had to clarify that and get more specific, because I could say that I want whatever. This just ties deeper into being careful what you wish for and but more so even the ask, the fact that we have shame in asking for what we want as women. I want to liberate that. I want to free women from that. Then I'm going to circle back, because someone did ask me a question about, I was talking about the UTI and how I would be able to call my friends and talk about that now, whereas before, in another lifetime, I would not be able to do that, or I would have shame in doing that. Someone asked me about healing from BV and from yeast infections. I did a talk before on the last Coochie talk about that. However, something that helps is boric acid. A boric acid suppository, I've had experience with them. Whenever my pH has imbalance issues, it's usually from switching a soap or from switching a like what I'm washing my clothes with. And I need to really switch to 7th generations and just deal with an all natural soap before I step to making my own. But whenever I'm using these Tides and these whatever, and I switch to another one that's high fragrance, high whatever, something happens within my pH. And then I used boric acid suppositories. You know, you pop one in there at night. Do not take it orally. It's really, don't take it orally. You'll have to go to the hospital. Pop it in there overnight. I think that if I do one night, 2 nights, I'm kind of good. My pH is good after that. But I would use it just as that, as a refresher for the pH to help balance it. And since yeast infections and BV are pH issues, I would recommend trying boric acid, but being conscious of your usage. I would more so like maintain healthy eating habits, eating live foods and fresh reds and things like that that help the womb. Herbal teas to keep you in balance. Black kahash root definitely helps with hormonal imbalances. I just started working with that. So yeah, there are options. There are definitely options, but a lot of it is going to start with your diet and what you are eating. But I do recommend trying the boric acid suppositories. You can get it at any CVS. I know that there's a woman, my aunt Petrova, who has a website that sells it. But I got mine from PhD. It's a woman's own brand that they sell inside of CVS. So yeah, no shame in that. It's okay. We are women. We're going to have issues. The things that we eat, see, like there's a whole environment to interact with. And sometimes even if you eat the healthiest, you switch some soaps like I did, and you have a little issue pop up. It is okay. I'm even now thinking about shame that gets passed down from the mother. I'm thinking about my mom's experience with feeling that she's beautiful while she was younger and things like that. And I shared some of the things that she went through, like feeling ugly, not feeling confident enough, and how that boils down to this. Like maybe there's a thing created, oh, only beautiful people deserve this, fill in the blank. Only whatever type of people deserve this. And if you don't think that you're that type of person, there will be shame in you wanting it. You see? So, oh wow, even that, I'm gonna have to come back to this video and sit with that one. With that fill in the blank situation. Wow. This is a parsley tea. I use fresh parsley leaves to make it. I'm currently doing the Sacred Woman Gateways, and I'm in the Gateway of Sacred Food, which recommends drinking parsley tea and using thyme oil. So I used actual thyme to put in my bath today. And I really do like the taste of this tea. It's been a blessing. I have been sleeping really good lately. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm just learning a lot, seeing a lot, experiencing a lot. Today I even put on a mask using the blood from my cycle. I collected it inside of my altar cup, and it just felt so nice to connect with myself in that way, because I had a friend that I saw do something like this a few years ago, or maybe just a couple of years ago, if not last year, 2022. And I didn't judge her for it at all. I just knew that it was different, and I knew that it was something I probably would have put on, oh, like, you know, this is what white women do. And again, that was just that. I saw her do that, and I was like, I wonder what it's going to take within me to be comfortable doing that same thing. And then like 3 days ago or 4 days ago, that thought came, like, yeah, when I start bleeding again, I'm going to do that. And then me and my friend started this beautiful container to have beautiful, loving conversations. Please go follow that. And our first live that we do every Friday at 7 p.m. was at 7 p.m. and my cycle started an hour before that first talk on A Conversation Z. So I knew that, okay, cool. I knew what I just said a couple days before, and now it's time to put it into action. So I collected the blood for 2 days, and it was fine. Then I was in my time bath today, and I felt myself get a little frustrated. I said, you know, what can I do to ease a little bit of this frustration? Let me put on a mask. Let me love myself. And I reached for the cup. I grabbed the glass, and just everything about it. I'm a Taurus, so I love all of my senses being involved in something. So like watching the blood drip onto my hands and being able to rub it on my face, and like it was just, oh my gosh, 10 out of 10. But it made me really want to be in the wilderness. It made me really want to be in the wild. I wanted to free bleed. I wanted to growl. Like I wanted to be around other women who this is a regular practice for them. It just made me feel like better than every version of myself that I have ever been. 10 out of 10. Like, so I'm looking for more experiences like that in my life, using this womb, using this divine seat to have me elevated in a sense where it's like I'm so comfortable doing things that I was so uncomfortable doing before in different parts of me. And as I'm looking at this gate right now, it looks like DNA strands, and I am consistently feeling like my DNA is upgrading and that I'm becoming a whole new being, which is being reflected in this realm. But with that being said, I will end the Coochie talk for this time. I'll end this session in this era with love and smiles and letting us all know that it is okay to operate without shame, that you are not wrong for your desires. You're not wrong at all. There's nothing that we can get wrong in this lifetime. You just learn and you shake and you move and you jive. So keep driving. If you have any questions about anything that was said, please drop it in the comments. You can message me personally on either the Perspective Dealer or It's Just TP. Make sure that you are following A Conversation Z so you can tap into me and my sister any Friday at 7 p.m. And we always post the lives after they're done. So, yeah, Hatapu. Peace unto you.